Hello there, Stampers. It is Tammy with Stamp and Scrap Tammy, and I am here today to share with you our August 2021 birthday club class from Stamp and Scrap with Tammy. So you are receiving this video in an email if you took part in this month's class, and I'm also keeping it shared publicly on YouTube, and we'll also be sharing it on Facebook to show people what Birthday Club is all about. So this month's class was just absolutely adorable. I will share with you the products I'm using, well, not all of them, the stamp sets I'm planning to use for the September class as well. So if you would like to register for that, registration is open. If you're getting it in the email, just click the button that says register now. If you're watching on YouTube, go to the comments, Facebook, it'll be in the post right up above if you'd like to take part in Birthday Club class. This is this month. It is so adorable. I'm gonna actually make the cards for you today. And so I use the In Bloom stamp set, and I also use the die cuts, the Pierce, I believe it's called like Pierce Flowers or something like that. I should have maybe written that down. But for those that got the class, there's a full supply list for you. But I use the In Bloom stamp set. So it's absolutely adorable. I focused on the sentiments, and I had all the die cuts ready for everybody that took the class. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is all included. These are the beautiful cards I'm gonna create today. They are so simple, but just absolutely stunning. I had someone at class tell me yesterday I was really getting fancy with the cards, but really the work of all of the dies, it just makes it actually very simple to make a beautiful, beautiful card. All right, so just give me a second here while I get set up just a little bit better. Okay, I am all set. So here's what is included. So all of the cards are separated into envelopes. There are 2 of each, and like you said, I have 4 here, so 8 total in this month's card kit. I did this month treated everybody to pre-cut cardstock or designer series paper. Sometimes, depending on the kit, we have to do just a little bit of simple cutting. So included in the kit is 6 sheets of the, I believe it is called Sweet, and I kept saying Cemetery, but I don't believe I'm saying that right. So just excuse my ears in that. Symmetry. So anyways, you know me, if you know me, most of you do, you know that my words often get fumbled. So anyways, so you get 6 additional sheets of this. So, you know, if in my designs that I cut for you, you don't prefer that one, you'd prefer a different one, you can just cut one of your own. Those that took the class, all the measurements for the designer series paper are right along with the PDF printed pictures that you can print out if you would like, or if you just want to view them, you can do that as well. And then let's take a look at the embellishments that are included this month. So this month is the 2020-2022 in color square gems. They coordinated very well. And then I have got the Bumblebee Gingham ribbon. So there's a half a package of that for you. And then along with all of the cut flowers, which I will bring them in as needed. And so I'm gonna just make one of the cards. So I've got basic white, I've got all the envelopes included for you. I am going to see about having a bone fold. Hopefully I can find one. Others, I'm just gonna grab one from my supplies if I don't have one right here. I certainly do. Okay, so I have a tag here. I don't remember what set that's from. Again, all the supplies will be listed in the supply list. I think this was a Sweet Succulent Dies, has that tag. That's what that's from. I use that tag all the time, it's stunning. All right, so I've got my basic white base. I'm gonna just fold that in half and use my bone fold to give it a nice flat crease. I've got Bumblebee for my background here, and then it might be hard to see in the video, but I use the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. It is from the new mini catalog. It is really stunning. It just gives a nice little bit of texture. So this is already pre-embossed for you. If you're recreating this and you don't have this one though, any embossing folder that has a little bit of texture will work for you. And so I'm just gonna go ahead, I'll start with some of my layers here just to get them out of the way. I'm gonna view my card here as we go so I don't get too mixed around. I wanna remember to put my ribbons on in the proper order. And so I'm not gonna put this on my base just yet. I'm gonna add in my designer series paper just right across, not quite the center. I wanna go down just a little bit from the center. And I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus. Liquid glue works, two-sided tape works, whatever you like to use is gonna be just fine. And so next I will just grab out a little bit of my ribbon here. See if I can do it without undoing the whole thing. I might have to undo the whole thing. And I probably have one that started, but that's okay. I'll use this one here as long as I have it. We can always rewrap that back up because I'm not gonna end up using quite all of it. And I'm going to just snip it off right here. And for this type of ribbon, what I like to do is fold it around the back and just use a little, you can use a glue dot, or if you have handy, just a little bit of Scotch tape. That is how I like to adhere my ribbon when I'm doing this little bit. Rather than tying it all the way around and then a bow, this saves a little bit of your ribbon. And now, since my next layers don't have anything that need to go onto this layer, I'm gonna go ahead and put that in place. And so next up, what I can do, so I could have done my stamping first, but as long as I'm working through this part, I might as well keep on going. And then I did use the color contour dies to get this nice scalloped rectangle. And it was cut right from the designer series paper. So you'll just see the coordination. And you know, when I pull all these in at the end, just how great they're gonna look. Now here, you can decide, you can put this up on dimensionals or you can go ahead and put it right on top of that. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it right on top since I'm gonna put dimensionals on my other layers. And let's just go ahead and put this in place. And I stuck to very basic ink colors for this. I used only 2 ink colors for this class. This one I have Flirty Flamingo going right now. And I'm going to use the You Mean So Much to Me. In Flirty Flamingo, I am using photopolymer stamp, so I do prefer to put it on top of my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm gonna stamp to the left of that so that I have room for my flowers on the right side. So this card, Bumblebee, Flirty Flamingo, and Basic White is all that I have for my colors. And you'll just see how nicely that goes together. And so now we're gonna go ahead and put this up on dimensionals. I'm gonna go to the left because my flower is gonna take up that whole little bit on the right side. So let's grab some dimensionals. I can move this just to the side for a minute. So I'm gonna make up one of the cards. If you are making the card class up as we go here, because you got the kit to go, you'll probably have plenty of time to make 2 as I go, depending on how fast you like to stamp and get through your projects. Excuse me. We do this class live in person if you are local to the Mankato area, or maybe you want to travel here, Mankato, Minnesota. Or this class is available monthly by mail as well. So the mail kits, actually I got them out early. They went out yesterday afternoon. Usually they go out on Wednesday after the class. So we do the live class on Tuesday. It is always the 4th Tuesday of the month. And then the mail class goes out on Wednesday. That actually gives me a little bit of time to make sure those people that came to the live class, they had all the things that they needed. And if I miss something, then it gives me the opportunity to add those in for those to-go people. All right, so as you see here, I have got all of these cut already. These were cut for everybody. They're included in the kits to go. So the kits to go, you probably actually have more flowers than what you needed. I just kind of put together a Mod Podge of pieces for you to make sure you'd have enough. I tossed in a few extras for you. So as you see here, I am going to use a different die cut. This one I have more of a daisy. I'm not really sure what that flower is, but that's the one I'm gonna use for the center of that. So, excuse me, I forgot to, I'm recording on my phone and I forgot to hit the silent button. I always forget to do that. And so I'm sure it was a telemarketer calling, but that's beside the point. And so I've got that on dimensionals. And then I will put this one on dimensionals as well. I always like to say, when you're doing these cards and you're putting lots of dimension and all this detail, and you're thinking, gosh, how am I gonna mail that? Well, either mail it with a package you're sending someone, hand deliver it to them, or just include a little extra postage. Your friends are worth it. Let me tell you, my friends are worth the extra little bit of postage some of these cards take. And so last but not least, I'm going to use a glue dot for this part. And since I have my, oh, I don't want the spatula end, I'm going to go ahead and use my take a pick tool to grab a glue dot off of here and then put it on this little cute center for my flower. And the reason I want to add that in is because I want to pull in a few more embellishments, or not a few more, because that's not really an embellishment, but I want to add some embellishment if I can get them open. So these were included in your kit. So not exactly the coordinating colors with this designer series paper, but you'll see how well they actually work. So, you know, sometimes that's the fun part about birthday club class is I put together ideas and concepts and different bundles that maybe you didn't think about. And so it kind of lets us think outside of the box sometimes. And so I'm going to put 5 on total. There we go. So that finishes our first card. So beautiful. I love that color combination. Let's move to the next card. And I'm going to try to keep my additional supplies together so I can finish those off even later today. All right, so next I've got this one. Oh boy, here's a pretty one. All right, so I'm using that same label, but we're going to stamp it in a different sentiment. And now this, I do have that other textured embossing folder. So this is the Tasteful Touches embossing folder. So again, if you're recreating these, you could use this one for both. You could use that other one for both. It doesn't really matter. They're both very nice. And so I'm going to need that. Let me see. I need to find my sample for this one. So again, all these measurements will be posted with the photos for those that purchased the class. So I have got Night of Navy. I did not pre-score these this time. I guess I ran out of time. If you like to pre-score, these are all standard bases. Just score your card at 4 1/4 is going to be the right score for each one of your card bases in this entire card kit. So we've got Night of Navy. Look at this combination. So this is the color combination that they told me matched this paper, and that is exactly what I went with for all of the cards. We've got Flirty Flamingo, and so we're just going in regular, pretty standard sizes here. And just a little stamp and seal on the Flirty Flamingo. Let's layer that up. And then, you know, when you're cutting a lot of designer series paper, you end up with these little scraps and you wonder, what should I do with those? So I went ahead and I'm gonna mat it on here. And this is just a 1-inch strip. Isn't that pretty? And then I've got this layer, so look at this. And now again, if you don't like the layers that I chose or the designer series that included in your kit, just go ahead and grab a different one and cut it. This is a 3x4. I'm gonna put it with the Night of Navy going down. Or showing up, I guess depending on how you wanna look at it. And then this is gonna go in the center. The cool thing about this piece here and going with this size, I did it on this card and this card. When you do it, it's 3x4. For the designer series, you get 12 out of 1 sheet of designer series paper. So if you are like me and you like to make multiples of a card, you know, I usually go 4, 8, 12, because, you know, that's kind of how our card sizes work out really well. Then you can get 12 designer series out of this 1 sheet of paper, 12 cards. Okay, so now my little strip here, I'm gonna add that right to the top of this here. I'm gonna add it using dimensionals. And for some reason, I have got mini dimensionals out today. That's kind of what I was left with. I'm waiting on an order to get here with more adhesive. I had to load up on adhesive. I've been working on a lot of cards the last couple weeks. So that has been taking lots of dimensionals and stamp and seal and all the whole bit. All right. And I have got a lot more coming up. We've got, of course, Birthday Club in September is September 28th. I do a similar class called Card Club, and that is going to be using that Harvest, I can't remember the full name of it off the top of my head, but Harvest Blessings possibly might be the name of that. But it's just beautiful, beautiful fall themed. And that's for regular card club. This is birthday club, and I'm gonna share with you at the end. I'm gonna set them close by so I don't forget to share them with you. The stamp sets that I'm going to use in September. It's gonna be a fun class, a little sneak peek, sneak talk about, I guess. It's animals. There's an animal in it. And you know, those cute animal cards, they always go over so well. Okay, I lost my label. Here it is. Oh, it looks like whoever would have gotten this kit would have gotten an extra one. All right, so now I have Night of Navy for my next, oh boy, watch out. Good thing I've got a cleaner here. I do have my Simply Chamois that I will wipe my fingers off on. Hopefully I don't get them all over now. You know how that goes. All right, so I'm gonna use the birthday sentiment out of here. Happy birthday, you really are the best is what this one says. So birthday club class, you know, so the sentiments that I put are usually always, or not usually, they always are for birthday club, geared towards birthday. But you can see as we're creating today, if you wanted to make these cards a different theme, it would not be crazy to think that you could do that. You could do that very easily. But since it's called birthday club, that's why I stick with my sentiments being birthday. But you could make this would be a beautiful thank you card, thinking of you card, you name it, it would be great. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put that kind of near, pretty much in the center. I'll put dimensionals on the right side and probably just a little stamp and seal on the other side because it's gonna rest on this part that already has dimensionals. So if I just put just a little sliver of seal, it's going to stay in place quite nice. Looks like the ink, the Night of Navy on my fingers is not going to affect the successfulness of this card, this far anyways. All right, and now what we can do is we can decide which embellishments we want. The Just Jade, this matches as well. So, I mean, that looks great. I think on my sample I used a different one, but this looks very nice. So there's two different sizes. I'll put a few of each on that one. So that completes that beautiful card. Now let's move to the next card. Oh, and my sample, I missed a piece. Uh-oh. Let's see if we can fix that. I forgot to put the ribbon. We gotta put some ribbon on there, but you know what? It's gonna be fine. Oh my, look at that. It is like, save the day. We gotta put the Bumblebee Gingham ribbon on the card. We can't miss that step because you know me, I love a good ribbon. And this is gonna challenge me to tie my bow because I'm trying to think if I did. So this one, okay, on this, do you see this? Oh no, I tied it this way. Okay, all right. I thought maybe I tied it around and then did my little bow separate, but I didn't. I did it just like this. So good thing I popped that up on dimensionals. And so, do you notice I put a glue dot down? That's gonna help keep this in place. So I always recommend wherever you want the center of your bow to be, to put a glue dot, because see, now I can press down and this isn't going anywhere. So as I'm trying to tie a bow, I don't have to worry about it wiggling around. And I will go ahead and put that down. And I can maneuver it around how I want it. And if it didn't work out, I haven't tied it tight, I can redo it. See, that one I didn't like that. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do it again. And see, there we go. I like this one better. There, beautiful. So sometimes it doesn't work out the first time and that's okay. Just try a second time. And then I want this one to be kind of little. I mean, this isn't that huge of a piece, so I don't want it to be real big. And so I'm just gonna tie a nice petite little bow. And did you notice I gave myself plenty of flexibility and plenty of room? I would rather have this leftover ribbon that I'm gonna end up cutting off and not needing than having a whole big piece that ends up not working at all because it wasn't long enough to begin with, and now what am I gonna do with it? So I'd rather just end up tossing that little bit and having a super cute, successful bow. So let's move on now to the next one. I'm so glad I remembered that. This one is probably my favorite, so maybe I should end with that one. Although, I don't know. This one is the first one. This is the card that inspired me to create this class. So this card is a case card. The other three are all my original designs. This is a case card from Don Olszewski. So I got this in a tutorial share that I take part in, and I just loved it. I've had it probably sitting in my collection for about 3 months. It's just on basic white. I love the simplicity of it. And I love that it uses all kind of the scraps. So I made this one last after I cut all the other papers. And so let's just go ahead and get started here. And I can talk a little bit about the assembly as we go in the stamping. So I'm gonna stamp first actually on this one. So again, I'm not gonna need all of these because I'm only making one up for you today. As far as in the video, I'll have to go back and make these other ones though afterwards. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, this is cool. So this kind of looks, probably in the video, it almost looks like a little ribbon, but it's just a piece of leftover scrap, basically Night of Navy. And so this is what's gonna layer together. Okay, so that's gonna go there. And then I wanna do my stamping first. So that's why I'm kind of setting it up. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna even move my navy out of the way because that's not important just yet. And so what I'm gonna do is I will put these all down, just kind of eyeball. They don't have to be perfect just yet. Don't tape them down yet. Because if I mess this up, I can flip it over and still use it. Because I want to figure out where I want my stamping. That's what the goal right now is. So I'm going to put that down and very carefully, you would maybe do this first. I maybe should have put it on here to begin with, but I didn't. So no problem. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball that, line it up so that I know where to put my stamping. So I want my stamping right here. Now remember, so if I make a kerfuffle, make it all messed up, doesn't work out, I can flip it over and try the other side. I'm gonna do my best to make it work the first time, but you just never know. So I always wait to adhere, and I shouldn't say always because always is a long time, right? I try to always remember to stamp first, then do my adhesive, because otherwise, you know, you're kind of stuck. If I get all this glued on and I really mess up my stamping, then I'm stuck. And then I have to start over with a whole new card. Okay, straight up, straight down, right there. I'm going to the right side because I'm going to put my flower on the left. There, look at that, gorgeous. But now I'm all lined up, so if I remove everything and, to put adhesive on, it's going to be no problem. Okay, so now I can move my mat out of the way again. And now we will go ahead and adhere these. You can do whichever sides of these you want. I did just a variety, just so that they were all different, is what I thought looked nice. And you know what I should show you? Let's put this on first. And so this is definitely a personal preference thing. And I'll see if I can show it close up in the camera. Okay, so these little pieces here that are in your kit, how they are measured are to line up with the Night of Navy. If you don't like that, what you would want to do, I'll do one of each. What you'll want to do is line it up with your basic white, okay? But that's going to put you just a little bit too big on the last piece. So what you're going to want to do then is just, instead of putting it right next to this, you're going to ever so slightly layer it on top. So like it's not even taking away a full, I want this on the bumblebee side. It's not even taking away like a full 1/8 of an inch or anything. Hold on, excuse me. Whew. Oh, excuse me, had a little tickle there. Okay, so just very slightly, I'm just layering those over the top so that when I get to this one, it's gonna be about the right size. Oh, I'm just a little bit off. That's okay, let's fix that. There we go. Now we got it. All right, and so then I'm going to do the same here. And that's gonna line up nice. Okay, and then I'm gonna put the strip right over the edge. Just this card is just stunning. And last but not least, let's adhere it to our base, and then we will find some flowers to put on there. I did use Calypso Coral for the flower, Bumblebee, of course, for the center. Let's put it going the right way for the center of this flower. So this is another one of those layouts that would be a nice, simple, successful stamping layout. What is a simple, successful stamping layout? That is what I consider one where you can take any designer series paper, switch it out with this, and you're gonna have success. So it would be so easy to make this with any kind of designer series paper. You could even add a different kind of embellishment if you didn't have the flowers or a flower. You could do a butterfly there. You could make this into a Christmas card and put a Christmas tree there. So many options. And then I'll take the larger center one that is available in there, and let's see, let's get some dimensionals here to put this flower on. I do love the detail in these die cuts, that all that stitching is just part of it. So, and the really cool thing, so this is another one of those, if you like to make multiples of cards, when I die cut these, I could cut 2 out at a time. So you can layer 2 pieces of paper together and run it through your die cutting machine, and you can cut 2 out at a time. So that made this, you know, so if you're looking going, wow, she sure cut a lot of flowers. I did cut a lot of flowers. However, when you can do 2 at a time, it doesn't take all that long. And so, but look at this, I cut out way too many on purpose so that, look at all those cards I get to make. I'm so excited about that. All right, and then I'll just put this center on, I think, with a glue dot. And so this one, I didn't do any ribbon on this one. This one did not really call for any ribbon, I didn't think. I thought it was just perfect how it was. But I did, so you could leave it there. But also what I think does coordinate is this Misty Moonlight, because this lighter blue in here to me looks like Misty Moonlight. I think it is. That's why I thought these gems would also look great here. So I'm gonna just put 3 of them on this card to keep it real simple. Doesn't that look great? And now let's go on to our last card before I bring them all into view all together. And then also bring in the stamp set. I'm actually using 2 stamp sets in September. I haven't created the cards yet. I like to pick out, the way I go about it, I pick out my stamp sets, and then I pick out the products and the cards around that stamp set. It's really quite a fun way to design. That's just how I design. I know everybody designs a little bit differently. All right, so this is a beautiful card. I am just really enjoying this little cluster. I did share this. If you'd like to see this card in full detail, a full video, you can scroll back on my YouTube videos. I did a full video on this card last week, but I'll go through it a little bit faster than what I did last week right now. So I have Bumblebee for my card base. Again, if you like to pre-score, 4 1/4 for all 4 of these cards is what you would score at. Score and fold. Use your bone fold to give it a nice crease. And then we've got Night of Navy. And I use the Bumblebee designer series side. You can do either side. A few people tried this side yesterday. That was fun to see too. So mix and match, do it up however you would like. And let's go ahead and put that down. And we can also adhere this, because my ribbon is actually going to go on the next layer, not on this one. This will just help us clear some of these pieces out of the way, because there are quite a few pieces for this one card. Okay, so next I've got that great layout again where I can get 12 out of 1 designer series sheet of paper. So it's a 3 by 4 for the next layer of designer series. And I will put that down in the center. And so let's go ahead, I will do the ribbon. I did add ribbon across the edge here. Now, You wouldn't necessarily need to, but this is what I'm going to compare it to. So when, you know, we all have those few friends that are always so polished, right? Like the necklace matches the earrings, that match the shirt, that matches the cardigan, and the shoes and the whole bit. That's what this reminds me of. And let me tell you, ladies, or guys, whoever's watching, that's not me. However, that's what this little bit, this piece of the card reminds me of. It's just that little extra special touch that's gonna polish the card off. You barely see it, but it definitely adds a little bit to the card. So you don't have to do this, but it's just that little extra touch that polishes it. So when someone glances at this card, look at that. That little bit there is sneaking on in the back, and it just adds a little something something to it. So that's why I preferred to add it. Now at this point, you can decide if you want to put this up on dimensionals or not. You know, on my sample here, I did not, but I think on this one here, I will. I'll see what it looks like that way. Because you know what? All this here, that's gonna cause me to put a little extra postage if I'm mailing anyways. So why not just do it up? Let's just get wild on this one. And you know, again, maybe this is one that I tuck into a gift bag that I'm gifting someone, or a hand deliver. Or I put in a package that I'm sending a customer, or like I said in the beginning, I just put the extra postage on because my friends and family and downline and customers are all worth that extra little bit of postage that this is going to cost me to send. A little tidbit about that. A couple things you can do when sending things that, you know, require extra postage, or that are, you know, are a little bit heavier on the top there. You can flip it. Now that's not my preferred method, but you can, that works. Or what you can do is you can just take another piece of paper, put it over the top, and tuck it in your envelope that way. That's gonna protect that front of the card for you. Okay, so next we have this label. This label is part of the die cut set that coordinates with the In Bloom stamp set. So nice little label die. Love that. And I'm gonna use Night and Navy again. So only 2 ink colors were used today. And let's see, let's bring in the mat again. And then for this one, it's going to say, "You are amazing." Again, you could switch out these sentiments to whatever you want them to say. You definitely would not have to have the In Bloom stamp set to have success with today's cards. You could use any stamp set and you would have a fabulous card in the end. But Night and Navy, Flirty Flamingo were my choice ink colors. Let me think of the other coordinating colors in here. We do have Just Jade. We've got Calypso Coral, and Bumblebee are the other main colors within this card stock or designer series paper collection. I keep saying card stock. So on this particular card, I'm gonna go to the right side of the label here so that I can build up some flowers over on the left side. And let's put this on with dimensionals. So my colors, it might be hard to see here, but I did use Flirty Flamingo and Calypso Coral. They look really nice together when layered in flowers. Not necessarily a color coordination I would have came up with on my own. So that's what I like about the Stampin' Up! Designer Series papers. They always kind of tell me, they give me the business and tell me what colors I should be mixing and matching. So they don't lead me astray. They don't leave me hanging for me to have to guess. Now, in these die cuts, there was all different sizes. So yesterday people were digging through and they're like, how do we find all these? And I said, you just dump them out, right? Dump them out and then we'll put them back in. So on this card today, I want to have that one and that one. So I'm just gonna take a few of them out. I don't know if I'm gonna use all these, but for now, that's what I'm gonna put. And then I can just go ahead. It isn't that fun to look at them all like that. Now I will just tuck them back into the bin. They are all back home. And now I will do the same with this one. The little ones tend to, you know, fall to the bottom anyways. So let's go ahead and grab a few different sizes here. That way I have a little bit to choose from as I'm doing this up. And last but not least, I need the Bumblebee. And I believe my green, the Just Jade. I'm running a little low on the Just Jade, but That's okay. So let's dump out my bumblebee. And what I really liked, if I have any, I really liked this small little flower for the centers for this card. So that was kind of a fun deal. There are some even smaller ones too. So look at my colors got a little mixed up. If I have two of those, I will go with it. If I don't, looks like I have that one just in case. And I have that one. So now I know I've got plenty out ready as I start making my fun little cluster of flowers that I'm gonna put into place. So I will use this one here, and then I'll see what I have for a bigger one. Maybe I'll just use two since I don't have any larger ones. And this might be kind of handy to have. If you have a silicone craft sheet, you might want to get it out at this time and use just some liquid glue to put your bottom flowers on. So I'm just going to end up tucking them underneath my label. And I'm going to try to not put too much adhesive on. And I'm going to tuck this one underneath here and just gently press it down into place. And then I'll put these ones on the top. So on my sample here, I used a larger one. So since I'm using two smaller ones, or since I'm using the smaller one, I'm going to use two. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's getting towards the end of the cards. Things are not all making quite as much sense as they did at the beginning. Probably at the beginning of the day too. It is kind of midday. So this video is being recorded midday on a Wednesday. So as soon as I'm done here, I will be finishing off the photos and the email that gets sent out to those that purchased Birthday Club class. Now I got a little adhesive on here from my mat. That's okay. It's going to be all hidden. So let's move that out of the way. And so as you see there, you know, when you're putting that part on, you probably think it looks a little bit silly, but it's just fine because by the time I add the rest of my flowers over the top, it's going to just kind of hide that a little bit. And so what I want to end up is with 3 little clusters of flowers here. So since this is going to rest on here, which this is already, my label's on dimensionals, I'll put my dimensionals on the left side. So the mini ones are working out really well actually with these flowers. So if you only want to have one kind of dimensional, you might want to go with the mini. And then I can put just a little tiny bit of adhesive on that to rest on the label. And pull those backs off. And so I'm starting with my center one. And then next I'm going to work to my next one. And then I'll add the top layer at the end. So this one is a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to go with one dimensional on that one and put it to the side here. And then we'll loop around the top side for the other one. And this one I like. So this is really cool looking when you do this. So take these two. This one, it was fun. The die actually cuts 2 out at a time. So every time I ran it through my stamp cut emboss machine, because remember I said I could do 2 layers, like 2 sheets of paper at once, I got 4 of this flower every time I cut it out. So look at that. Look at how cool that is. And so let's put this also up on dimensionals. And now just because I want to make sure it's going to stay good, I'm going to put one more on there. And then we'll tuck that up on top. And now let's add a little bit more color. I gotta fix this one. We gotta fix that. That didn't work out. I had it on the label, on the dimensional. So it looks like I need to move my dimensional over a little bit. Because I want it to lay the same layer as that one. Not that anyone else probably would have noticed. It probably would have been just fine how it was. Okay, so one more thing I do want to grab. One color I didn't get that I do want if there's one in here. Maybe there isn't one. Okay, that's okay. That's no problem. Because what I can do here we go. All right, so what I'll do, because I want to have different colors of these little flowers. I don't want them all to be yellow, bumblebee. So I'll put my first one up there like that in Flirty Flamingo. And then my other two are Bumblebee. And then what I'm gonna put on the centers of these, believe it or not, I think it looks great, is the square embellishment from my In Color Embellishments that are cinnamon cider. I thought it looked so good. Now you could do other ones if you wanted, but I thought it just looked really neat for the center of the flower. And any of the sizes work. I'm actually using the larger size. Maybe I'll do the other one with the smaller size just so we can see what that looks like as well. And then last but not least, we have to finish off with the tiniest, petitest, cutest little bow. So let's move all these extras out of the way. Put them back in our bin to use later. I'm gonna use my gingham ribbon. Now, I believe in your kits to go, you all should have 2 bows tied. I believe I found enough time to get 2 bows tied for everybody, but if you didn't, you're gonna tie the cutest, petitest little bow out of your gingham ribbon that you have left. Or maybe you're making extras. I mean, if I was doing this, I'd probably make, you know what? I already did. I have like 20 of this card ready. I just got to finish it off with the flowers. I didn't want to pull from the flowers until class was over because I'll just use the leftovers and make whatever I have work. And so I got just this cute tiny little bow, and I'm going to snip it pretty small. And you see, I left it attached while I tied the bow. That seems to work the best when you're tying single bows like this. And I'm gonna adhere it with a glue dot. All right, and that's it for that card. That's my favorite one by far. Again, well, maybe not, because I like the simplicity of the card I made right before this, so maybe I just really couldn't decide which one I like best. But I hope that you really enjoy them all. Let me show you them all. So if this is your first time watching a Stamp and Scrap video, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching the replay somewhere, just checking out what Birthday Club is all about, I hope that someday you will join us for either the live in-person class if you're local, or you'll take the class online and I can send it to you. It would be an absolute pleasure to create with you. And here are the beautiful cards that we made for the August 2021 Birthday Club class using the In Bloom stamp set and those pierced die flowers. Oh, just absolutely stunning. Now, who wants to see real quick what I'm using for next month? It is going to be a fun one, that is for sure. So I have decided to pair up 2 stamp sets together. I, of course, will most likely be using some die cuts, but those will all be done for you, so you won't have to have them. But if you want to create exactly how I do, these are the 2 stamp sets that you would like. Now, look at these. You wouldn't have to have the In Bloom stamp set to be able to take my class. The same will go for next month. So as long as you have a birthday sentiment, I'm going to be using the Happiest of Birthday stamp. And then wait for it. If you have an animal stamp or this exact stamp, you will be having just a great time making the class next month. The Party Puffin stamp is what I'm going to be using next month. The class will also include $15 to $20 in consumable products that you get to use on your projects, and then you'll have leftovers to keep. You can add these onto your class if you choose to, and the price that you pay to add them on is just the exact price in the catalog. I take care of the shipping and the tax when you add on a stamp set or a bundle when it's included in either the Birthday Club class or my regular monthly Card Club class. So I hope that you'll consider taking part in next month's class, September 2021. The class date for the in-person is going to be September 28th. It is a Tuesday. And then the class kits that mail out will go out on the very next day, Wednesday the 29th. And then an email gets sent out with a video, a PDF that you can print off with pictures and measurements as well on the day after the live class. So that would be September 29th for our next class. That's going to include these 2 stamp sets. or that I'm going to be using these 2 stamp sets. You can add them on to have it included. All right, everybody, thank you so much for taking a look at the August 2021 Birthday Club class. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you love it if you received the kit and maybe just enjoyed watching along, and maybe you can create these on your own if you weren't able to take part in this month's class. All right, everybody, thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you for Birthday Club again next month. Take care.